Welcome traders to this week's weekly market analysis class, Monday the 14th of August. Before we get started, as always, please understand that any advice in today's session is of a general nature only and that your personal circumstances have not been taken into consideration. Alright, let's have a look at what's happening in this week in terms of important or significant data releases. Let's have a look at what's happening in the marketplace. And essentially, the topic that seems to be just starting to come through right now and perhaps looks to be possibly going to dominate the headlines a little bit this week may be the situation between the US and North Korea. The US dollar has performed not very well against the Japanese yen, and a lot of the reasons behind that is predominantly because of the tension that is happening between North Korea and the US. Against other currencies, it has had a bit of a recovery, so to speak, from the big downpour that it has had in recent times. But the reality is that there hasn't been anything significant in terms of really positive data, employment numbers, monetary policies, anything along the lines that would really stimulate the US dollar to recover a lot of the losses that it made against most of the majors. Now, the situation with North Korea is another element which is basically hindering its recovery, and that is a real recovery. Look, the reality is that most analysts and most of the world do not believe that there will actually be a war. We all hope that that is the case, and the chances of that are slim. In terms of what happens to our own currency, the Australian dollar, and also the commodity currencies, is really going to depend on what China does in this war of words at the moment. So whether if they sit on the sidelines, well, then that will be more beneficial for us, for the commodity currencies. But if they decide to get involved in some way, well, then it could affect our currency significantly as well. Look, at the moment it's all speculation. It's a lot of it is headline news, as we call it, or headline sort of drama, and it can move a market. When the correct headlines come out, people react to it, and essentially it genuinely does move a market. So just have it in the back of your mind. So that's the situation there. In terms of anything else significant or fundamental, I guess everybody knows that the US was intending to increase rates a few times this year. They have managed to do one increase, but everything else now, in terms of, they've been very cautious in terms of waiting for significant improvement in the economy in the way of positive data reinforcing their views, and it hasn't come off late, so they have not been able to take that situation. Another central bank which has increased rates was Canada, and the Canadian dollar improved significantly, and it did make a big impact specifically against the US dollar. In terms of the Kiwi dollar and the Aussie dollar have not moved on that front. The GBP has also started to talk about that perhaps they may need to as well, but until right now, nothing has actually happened. So there you go. That's a little bit of an overview of what's happening, things to keep in the back of your mind. I still 95% of the time trade my technicals, but if there's something significant and it's impacting the entire market, well, then either I stay aside and do not participate, but I just need to be aware of them. And whatever your decisions are towards fundamental side of the equation, is that you do need to incorporate that into your trading plan, so that when these things arrive or arise in the market, you don't have to make a decision on the fly, and you've already know exactly how to behave and what actions to take. Alright, in terms of data this week, the important ones, if we look, we've got the Aussie dollar. We've got the monetary policy meetings tomorrow at 11:30, and later in the week we have employment change numbers, the rate and the actual number itself on Thursday. That's pretty much the pick of it for the Aussie dollar, so it's not a great deal. The US, we have a tomorrow call retail sales. On Wednesday we have building permits, we have FOMC meetings on Thursday, the minutes, so that one could be the one. This one over here, which I'll just mark, I forgot to mark that one. So that one there could be the one that moves the market in a greater fashion. And we have unemployment claims on Thursday to getting close to the end of the week. From the UK side of things, we have CPI Tuesday, Wednesday, average earnings and retail sales on Thursday. That's pretty much the peak of everything this week in terms of what's been released and which currencies are going to be impacted by these releases. It's going to be the GBP USD. It is the one that's going to be the most impacted by news releases. Guys, also remember that my times that I'm showing you here are in my local time. That's Australian Eastern Standard Time, so just please be aware of that. And there you have it. That's what we have this week. Let me do a quick trading challenge update. We are nearly complete. The last with trade number 19. Well, first of all, trade number 18 got stopped out. It was a US yen trade, this one here. So we took a loss on this one. And trade number 19, we placed pending orders, I think, 3 times, and 3 times we did not get triggered. But I am in from this morning, so I have an open trade here. And when I get to the GBP USD, I'll also place that trade on the account that I'm logged into right now for this class, so that we can actually go through the process and see exactly what I'm talking about. So 19 trades have been triggered. I'm looking for trade number 20. So via method 1, my result is 1465. Via method 2, 1465. By method 2, we are at 1250, and also I got one open trade there. Okay, so there you go. That's an update on that. Look, if you have any questions, guys, please type them in as we go along. I'll bring up my charts and we'll start to look through what we have in detail this week. Questions popped up. Give me one moment. Simon's asking what for. I think your question is for method 2. If I move my stop to break even at the 1-to-1 level, the answer is yes. So as how I defined it in the trading challenge little course that I created. Via method 1? Method 1, no. Method 1 just either gets stopped out or hits second target. Okay. Alright, so here we go. Let's have a look. We got Aussie US dollar. Okay, let me just zoom out a little bit. Let me just analyze. I did analyze all these charts before, but I like to look at them on the fly, live, because sometimes I see different things by the questions that you guys ask me. Okay, the first thing I really want to do, I'm just drawing a couple of lines. Really, it doesn't mean anything. I can feel this kind of a wedge here. It just kind of looks a little bit right or there or thereabouts. Let me zoom in. When I look at this region here, okay, it feels definitely that we're in trend. Okay, normally I would look for a trade here in this direction. The only thing that concerns me if you are trading trend, okay, notice that you got a couple of fractals here, and this level here has gone lower than that level. Okay, so for a proper trend definition, like when you make these lows, the lows have to keep getting higher, so they've got to keep getting higher. Okay, so an indicator of perhaps a trend about to change is when the lows stop getting higher. So for example, you might be like this, and then all of a sudden the next dip starts. So this dip here goes lower than that one there. This is an indicator that perhaps the trend may start to change, and therefore over here I would not look for the trade in this direction. And you can see that this is exactly what's happened in this particular part of chart. You look at the fractals, they're going up, they're going up, they're going up, up, and now this low has gone lower than those fractals. So for this particular case, even secondly, I don't have a setup in this candle formation here, but even if I did, I would be reluctant to basically look for that trade in that direction. So the Aussie dollar right now seems to be in a little bit of limbo. because there's no other shapes or geometric patterns that I can draw in here to look for a trade. And if we're about to change, shall I say, change trend direction, well, I don't know yet. Okay, so but what I've just mentioned to you is something that will cause me to think about it a little bit longer. If I'm about to change trend direction, well, then I need to wait for it to start to develop before I can start to jump into it. So at the moment, the Aussie dollar, along with a lot of charts today, actually, and as we go through, we'll see them, is not really set up for anything, and it's looking a little bit indecisive, for lack of a better word. So right now, Aussie dollar, let's do nothing. Okay. And by the way, this line that I drew up here, this is, I would not have been able to trade off that line because that touch up there is only the second touch. Okay, I've just drawn it there just in case the market goes back up there, then I'm definitely going to look to trade off it. So I just want to keep it in my chart so that it reminds me of what I'm actually potentially looking for. Okay, so we all sweet. Aussie dollar done. Nothing to report on that one. Let's move along and let's have a look at the Euro USD. One-way traffic here. Okay, it's a shame, real shame that we did not get a nice entry off that candle sequence. That is not a reversal pattern. I was looking for it. It just did not come along. So naturally, if you did get it, then this is the trade that we would have been attempting to trade, but it didn't come along, so we just sat from the sidelines. Let me zoom out a bit. Let me just have a better look at this chart. Okay. The 119 has provided a bit of a level, a resistance level that we have not been able to break through. 120 is a higher psychological level, but 119 has held firm so far. Let me just look at a 4-hour chart, see if there is a channel in here. Give me 1 second. What does it look like? No, nothing there. Okay, look, since we did not get an entry here, this is going to be a matter of let's wait, see if we can shoot through that. If we get through that, what we're looking for is the next pullback with a fractal setup, then we'll be looking at taking that trade in that direction. It's really the only thing that I can see here. Not interested at all in anything short, because if I'm taking a short trade on this, it's purely speculation. So there's nothing technical for me to give me a reason from a technical point of view to look for a short. So I am not going to do so. What I would like to see is I'd like to see a break of that high, come back, show me some kind of a pullback, good price action, and then take that trade in that direction. Okay. Any questions on the Euro USD? Well, we got it up. We all understand our game plan for this one. Great. All right, GBP USD. Okay, this was the daily call chart of the day today, for those of you who saw it. And this one, we can see from here, we can kind of start to say, okay, we're in an uptrend and we're swinging up. Now, notice with this one, that fractal and this level, it has not gone lower. It's a little bit higher, but it has not gone lower. And if I zoom in, what I'm actually looking at is I'm looking at these two candles here. And those two candles is an engulfing candle. So this one that I'm pointing at, candle number 2, let's call it, is engulfing candle number 1 completely. All right, wicks and all. So by definition, then what we look to do is at the open of this candle, which is pretty much exactly at the same level as this morning, we look to do a buy in that direction. Now, when you trade the engulfing candle, remember, if this current candle ends up going down lower like this, tomorrow when you look at your chart, one, you would have been stopped out, but secondly, you would be wondering, why did I take a trade in this direction when there is nothing to signal that? And this is one of the, I guess, the aggressive nature of taking an engulfing candle, because if this candle does go lower than this one, there will be no fractal at that point over here. So the plus side is, if you wake up tomorrow and this candle's up here, as an example, you will see the fractal there, and then you would be wondering, why did I not take the trade? All right, so it's going to become a balance of which do I go this way, or do I go the other way. What I can only suggest to you is, once you start to take some live trades, you will know if you feel uncomfortable with the engulfing candle. It is much more aggressive than the inside candle. And then if you don't like it, then just make sure you write it into your trading plan. So then when you do see it, you don't have the dilemma of, do I take it or do I not take it? Okay, it's part of my rules. It's a standard price action trade in trend. So that's a yes, I'm going to take it. I already have taken it as part of the trading challenge, but I was waiting for this class to take this one live with you to talk you through the trade itself. Is everybody clear on what I'm about to do? Because I'm getting ready right now to take this trade. Give me one moment. I need my mini terminal to help me. Where is my mini terminal? There it is. Okay, so I can see that some of you have already taken the trade. So what I do here is I'm going to go in at market. I'm just going to measure out how far my stop has to be. I want my stop to be about, I'm going to call it 70 pips from current. So I'm going to place my stop just there somewhere. Okay, so I'm going to go 70 pips. And I'm going to take a risk as per trading challenge rules of 250 on this particular account. So I'm buying. Now where it says fixed lot size, change that to fixed cash risk, 250 AUD. Now my stop in pips, I already said it was 70. So my second target, my T2 target, will be 140, twice as much. And we're ready to go. And here we go. Everything's correct. And there it is. You can see now on my chart, the little green line there indicates the entry. That is my T2 target. And this one here is my stop, the red one there. Okay, and the mini terminal should have sized this automatically for me. Let me just double check. And it has. Oops, just went over it. So it's taken a 0.28 trade to match the parameters that I indicated. Any questions with that, guys? So that is my trade number 19 that I've showed you here. That's this one here. Okay, I've already updated the web page so that you can go in and have a look at these results, but this is just a screenshot from that same web page so that you can see it, and this trade obviously is still open. Okay, alright, let me move on. Alright, so GBP USD, we've taken a long trend trade engulfing candle. US yen, let's move along. Okay, Got asked a few questions this week about this chart, about adjusting these lines as we started to adjust it. The last one I think I answered this morning. Someone said, what about if I draw it like this? Is that legitimate line? What do we think, guys? Do we think, is that okay there or not really, or kind of? What do we think? There's going to be a bit of discretion in this answer, so I'm really keen to see what you guys think. Right now, I've got about 70% of you saying no. Okay, my first gut reaction is that whenever you draw a line, first of all, okay, let's talk about lines. So let's say I was drawing a line, any line, like over there. If I have to catch at least 2 points for it to be a line. That's the first point, okay? So let's say I go like that. Now, if it's 2 consecutive points, meaning there's nothing here in between, there's nothing in there, that's pretty good. All right, that would be considered a line. And then ideally, when we go there again the third time, this is the time that we look to take action on it, because on the second time we don't know it's going to be a turning point until it's actually turned around. Does that make sense to everybody? If anybody strongly disagrees, can you let me know? If you're half asleep, can you just hit your keyboard just so that I know that you're still there and I don't fall asleep? Okay, great. So what we need to consider now, let me just rub some of these things out. So let me rub that out and let's get rid of that line. So what happens in the case when you get the line, goes there, comes back, gets close, comes back and touches? The reality is that this is point 1 and this is point 2. This, you can't call this point 2 because it did not touch. So what tends to happen when you find touches like this, people get confused and call this point number 3. And when they're calling that point number 3, they try and trade off it, which really is they're not trading off a line. They're trading off what could potentially become a line. When it comes down, then you go, yes, it was a line. Okay, but this one here, I am not really going to include it. So having said everything that I've said, I don't really want to include that point. Okay, and I'm really trying hard to fit it in. Okay, look, I'm trying to fit it in. I'm trying to catch it a little bit. I'm trying to be, but that's about as close as I can get, right about there, maybe a little bit more over here, and I still haven't caught it. And on top of that, I'm just the wick. Ideally, I want to catch it around about there. That's where I really want to catch it. So there's a bit of daylight there. So in my opinion, and this is just my rules, okay, so you will need to go and make your rules as well. In my rules, I'm going to say this is not a touch. So therefore, this is really only the second touch. So if I was going to try and trade that, it is extremely aggressive. Okay? We all clear on that? Alright, so therefore, let me rub this line out because I'm not going to try and trade off it. Let me see if I can find something different. Someone's popped up and said, what about if I try and turn this into a line? Give me a second, let me try and fit it in a bit. What do we think about that? Okay, just hold this thought right now because someone's just made a really valid point. Karen, let me just address your issue because I thought exactly the same as you. Alright, so what Karen is saying is she had her line drawn in there, and remember we were trying, actually this is the trade that I got stopped out on because we traded this engulfing candle off 1, 2, third touch, and we were trying to go this way. and we got stopped out on this trade. But what Karen is saying is that she says her line is good there, and now we've broken the line down, and that's correct. Okay, now I'm not a breakout trader, so I'm not trading the breakout, and the breakout really was maybe one of these two. It's not, yeah, you could, if and no. Okay, either way, I'm not a breakout trader anymore, so I don't have to confuse my psychology about it. So I'm just ignoring the possibility to trade a breakout. Okay, is that clear, Karen? So what I'm now going to do, knowing that, I'm going to look for something else. And the first thing that I want to point out is just notice that my top line up here is perfectly horizontal. And this one I can draw horizontal. I can actually draw a channel, a horizontal channel. And you know what I think about horizontal channels, guys? They are my favorite, the highest probability pattern that I know. So let me settle it in. So now we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and this point, that's okay. I'm not including that because this is my number 1 up here. Does everybody like that pattern? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a perfectly flat channel. It's better than just a double bottom because it's gone both directions. Okay, now normally what do I say about channels? The first time you can properly trade a channel is on touch number 5, which would be, you got to wait all the way up here. This is the first proper trade. But on number 4, it would be considered the aggressive version of the trade. So I don't mind it. So what's stopping me from taking this trade right now in this direction? Anybody? Can you help me out? What's stopping me? I'll zoom in so we can all see it better. Paul's asked a great question. Are the channel lines too far apart? No, it's still a channel. The most important thing about a channel is that there's no in-between parts. If this had gone like this, then gone up, and and taken its time to get down here, and it was very, like this, that's a horrible channel. Okay, but what this one has done is just gone from one side, bang, pretty much straight away, straight away, straight away. Does not get prettier than that. Okay, so don't worry about what this distance is. That's just our psychology, which is clouding what we're looking at. And the reality is, on a daily chart, that's only like 400 pips. It's not a great deal. And what you'll find is that the distance is bigger on flat horizontal ones compared to ones that are at an incline. Okay, so I'm looking for an answer. What are we saying? Some people are saying there's no price action. Rav, correct. No fractal, yes. So basically, we got to wait. I've got to wait for this candle to finish. Okay, so let's say if it finished exactly like it is right now, okay, what I would want is I would want this one to finish. This would be almost like a 3 candle pattern where I want that one to finish better than halfway of the red one. Okay, because this is a doji. So it'll be kind of like a hanging man. It's a little bit different, but I would still be happy with that. Does everybody understand? So if tomorrow this green candle is about there, then closing there, then basically at the open, I will take that trade, and that will be trade number 20 for the challenge. We all clear? Excellent. All right. That's our US yen. We've just spotted a channel. We're waiting for the candle to finish. Let's see if we can jump on a trade tomorrow morning. Your yen. Okay, let me zoom out a bit. mixed signals here. There's no price action, first of all, to continue the trade in that direction. We made a higher high and we made a lower low. So if I zoom in on this little section here, I've got a shape that is actually getting wider. That usually tells you the market is getting confused or doesn't know which direction it's going. So I need for this pattern to settle down a little bit. Okay, so this one, I'm just going to leave this chart alone. Okay, Kiwi dollar. What's the difference between this one and the GBP USD, guys? This one here, in theory, that is higher than that. But this retracement is very, very big. Okay? And look at my moving averages. They're just crossing over. So otherwise, I would have picked this as a trade, inside candle over there, to go in this direction. Alright? So it's the moving averages that turned me off it. And this one's got the feeling that this could produce a double top for us. It could produce this. It's looking like it might. And then if it does make a double top, then that's the result that you would expect. Okay, so just keep an eye on this one. Let's see if it plays out. I just get the feeling that it could produce a double top over here. Okay, so the reason I have not tried to take a trend trade here is because by my definition, I get the feeling that the trend is changing. All right, so that has stopped me from looking. That's made me ignore the inside candle there. Does everybody understand the reasons for that? Is anybody confused about that? Okay, there's a couple of you that are a little bit confused. Okay, let me try and explain it. The way that I've defined trend, if you go to the price action videos that I've made and look at my definition of trend, the definition that I've given for trend is if the moving averages, these two, are in order. Okay, in other words, see between here and see right now they're crossing again, and there we could say we were in an uptrend. Okay, because that moving average is higher than this moving average. Does that make sense so far? Okay, so whilst when you get the pullbacks like this, notice that the moving averages are still, they have not crossed over. So it is naturally that you would look for a trade in this situation to continue with the trend. So the trend goes up, pulls back, gives you the price action, the moving averages still stay consistent, and then you look for a kick to a new high. Alright, so this time it's kicked, but it's gone more than pulling back, right? The pullback was there, and we tried to take a trade there, but it just broke down and we did not trigger. And it's gone too deep. The pullback, it's much more than a pullback now. It's actually come back significantly, so much so that the moving averages have now crossed over. So I cannot look for a trade in that direction. Alright? So that's my full explanation. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Alright, let's move along and let's have a look at the US CAD. Okay, what about this one? What do we think about this one? It's definitely an engulfing candle. It's definitely in a downtrend. The moving averages have not crossed over each other. So the question goes, should this be trading challenge number 20? Don't I want you to answer this question without thinking what you feel or think the US dollar may do or the Canadian dollar may do or how far this has already moved. So you just need to uh, so it's got nothing to do with what you emotionally feel the market would do. The question is, does it meet our criteria? Should this be trade number 20? That's the question. Okay, it is unanimous. Everybody has said yes. A couple of people have asked a couple of different questions. Let me address them and then I will make a decision. Okay, a couple of people are saying, give me a sec, sorry, I've just gone back too far. Do I look at a weekly chart to establish a trend? The answer is no, I do not. I mean, I can look at it, but it's not gonna. Basically, I'm making my decision based on this chart that I'm looking at right now, and this is a daily chart, and this is definitely in trend. It has pulled back quite a bit, okay, but it's definitely in trend. And if the trend is going to be true and continue, then what should happen if it does continue is going to attempt this low one more time. Okay, so now if the trend breaks and then comes back, well then we get stopped out, and then that's okay. We hopefully pulled some trades along the way and got our rewards. All right, so that's the first question. Somebody else said, I need to wait for a fractal. Let me zoom in and let's address that one. Okay, now if I wait for a fractal, right now, this is an engulfing candle. Candle number 2, this one, is engulfing candle number 1, that one, completely. All right, so by definition of price action, I don't need to wait for a fractal. All right, this is an engulfing candle, and I can trade it at the open, which would have been here, and I'll get it a little bit cheaper. Okay, that's the definition. Now, if I want to wait to see if this candle becomes an inside candle, so then I would actually be trading these two candles. I would get the fractal there, and yes, I can do that. If you don't like to trade the engulfing candle for the same reasons I explained when we did the GBP USD trade, you can wait on this trade for tomorrow to see if you have it. The plus side is if this goes up, well then you never enter the trade and I would have got stopped out. And the second, or the alternative is, what happens if this goes down like this? I hit my target, you don't even participate in the trade. So that's the two things that you need to trade off against each other. Alright, let's just finish this. This is trade number 20. Trading challenge is officially over. Here we go. Let me bring my mini terminal on. Let's turn it on. Let's measure out my stop. I'm going to put this one 75. I'll hit the little button. I'm a seller. Fixed cash risk. Let's go to 50. My stop in pips is 75. My target in pips is twice that, so it's 150. Okay, I'm a seller and done. Alright, I don't need this anymore. You can clearly see there's my entry level. This is my T2 and this one here is my stop, and I'm moving in this direction. Okay, so I will update that sheet. We've got 20 trades in the system, so I just need to wait until I get a result on these final 2 trades. So hopefully most of you took a lot of the trades, or at least monitored them. It's been a choppy period. I got hit in a trending market, and we didn't trigger as many trending trades as perhaps we would have liked. But look, at the end, the method held its own. Okay, and I still don't know what the results of these two trades is going to be. All right, so there you have it. That's US CAD. Let's move along. Gold. Okay, I drew this channel last time, and we've gone through that. So I can't use that, so let me delete that channel. And what I want to do immediately is I want to draw a line across there. And it should be clear as gold to what I want to do now. If I get here, I am definitely going to look to sell there. Alright, because this will be touch number 3. This is exactly the kind of setups that you look for. You got your first touch, your second touch, and this is the first opportunity that you get to trade it. Okay, so gold chart, put that one on your super hot list. And let's see if we can, we're not ready yet, so we can't trade off these two candles because there's still a little bit of daylight. I want to get closer to the line. Hopefully I get an opportunity to do so, and let's see if we can trigger a trade. Okay, pretty easy one, that one. WTI, let's look at oil. Why have I got a line there? I think that's just to remind me of a level. Trend type trades are on, but there's nothing set up, so there's nothing for oil. Oil we leave alone this week. Okay guys, any questions, please type them in. If you want me to look at something, please let me know what they are. Will I go back and summarize? Aussie dollar is a bit of a indifferent chart at the moment, so we need for it to settle down. And then see if we can find a few trades. But this week, nothing. Euro USD, we would like to see a break through that high, go up, come back, and then look for the trade. GBP USD, we have just entered the market. We are long based off an engulfing candle setup in the trend, moving in that direction. So we are long. US yen, we have just spotted a parallel channel and we're waiting for this current candle to finish. Let's see if the 3 candle sequence here turns into a price action reversal pattern for us. Euro yen, there is nothing on for us. Kiwi dollar, we are potentially keeping this one to look for for a head and shoulder pattern. But there's nothing on at the moment. US CAD, we've just entered short, trading challenge number 20. The GBP was number 19. So let's see what happens there. And gold coming up to resistance. Let's see if we can find something nice there for us. WTI, nothing on the agenda. Okay. Someone's asking me, can I have a look at the GBP JPY? Sure, give me 1 second. Let me bring it up. Let me just draw this line, see if it matches up. Oh, it's just gone too far. Got nothing on the GBP JPY. Nothing happening. Any other questions, guys? We're a bit sleepy this afternoon. Sleepy Monday. Euro Swiss. Oh, I saw the Euro Swiss earlier today when I was looking at the daily call. There was something nice there. Give me 1 sec. Or no, it's actually Euro New Zealand, I think, from memory. Euro Swiss first is what I got asked. Ooh. Stay away from this chart. Nothing there. Euro New Zealand, because I just remembered. Let me have a look at it. Yeah, it's coming up to a double top, the Euro New Zealand. So put that on your hot list. If not, it may make my daily call tomorrow if I get a setup. What are the values of my moving averages? It's a 24 exponential and a 12 exponential. What about palladium? Oh, that one just, that was the chart of the day. Oh, no. Did you say platinum or palladium? Palladium, let me look at it. There's palladium. We're coming up to some kind of resistance there, so I would do nothing on this one. Platinum. Okay, someone's asking platinum. Okay, oh, look at that. What a bummer. Oh, that's annoying. I put this as a chart of the day on Friday, I think. Was it Friday? I don't remember. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I took it and I got stopped out about there. Okay, and look, there's the candle, the reversal candle. This is what I was looking for. On top of that, this is not a trading challenge. It was just a chart of the day. On top of that, it was at a resistance level. What a bummer. Okay, if anybody's still in this trade, remember, this type of trade is not aimed to go all the way down here. It's only aimed, this candle is, that's it. I would be out of this already now. That's what I was looking for. Okay, it's just a short reversal because I'm not trying to get in the way of the trend. It's just a statistical trade. That's all. DAX. Someone's asking about the DAX. Where's the DAX? Oh, that can't be the DAX, is that right? Oh, DAX is trending down now. Okay, so the best bet is let's look for a trade there, a setup there to hit it and keep trading down. Simon, let me see. Even if a fractal appears tomorrow, this is still related to the platinum question. Yes. I just got to make this clear. The reason for the platinum trade chart of the day was simply that there was 10 candles in a row. That was it. The fact that there was like a kind of like a double top, that was just a bonus. It wasn't the reason I was taking the trade. Okay, it was a purely statistical trade. And occasionally I'll find something strange or different just to keep you guys sharp. I go through about 30, 40 charts every morning trying to find you the best chart that I can. Okay, and that day that was the best one that I found. Okay, if there's no more questions, we shall wrap it up. I'll just put back up on my screen what am I putting up? These are the times of things that are happening this week, so you can just look at them if you need to. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to get in contact with us. Follow me on Twitter at ChatFX. If otherwise, I will speak to you tomorrow on the Daily Call. Have a great trading week, and yeah, we'll speak soon. Bye for now.